Would you mind defining woke? Because it's come up a couple times and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So, I mean, woke is sort of the idea that this is going to be one of those moments that goes viral.
And it did. That incredibly cringy moment featuring a conservative author by the name of Bethany Mandel did go viral because she, of course, struggled to define what woke means, even though she wrote an entire book about wokeism.
Yep.
Now, soon after, she took to Twitter to come up with some cover story, some excuse for why she had that pretty embarrassing moment. And well, didn't help her case, if you ask me, but you judge for yourselves. So she starts by saying that she and her husband have 6 kids, Mazel Tov, congratulations. And you know, she heard one of the hosts prior to the interview on a hot mic say something that really hurt her feelings. Right before we went on air, she writes in a Newsweek piece, I heard one of the hosts speaking about parents in what I perceived to be a negative way. I panicked. Over my career as a loud and proud breeder, I have often felt attacked by the left and braced myself to be ambushed on air about my own life choices as a mother of 6 children. The left doesn't care about your decision to have 6 kids. Like the idea that the left is like sitting around smoke-filled rooms talking about your decision to have kids is insane. I don't know if I believe what she's saying, to be quite honest with you, I don't. But even if I did, even if there's evidence indicating that Brianna Joy Gray or her co-host said something demeaning about people who choose to have kids, I watched the entirety of the interview. She was doing great until she was expected to, define what woke means. And that was when she was stumbling and bumbling. It's okay to have a bad moment. And by the way, woke is difficult to define because it's become a catch-all for anything the right wing doesn't like, right?
Yep. So I think this story is really interesting for a couple of reasons. If you only read her editorial she wrote afterwards and saying like, oh, she's juggling the kids and her husband's trying to help and he was so nice and she had that human moment where she froze and had a kind of a panic attack, you might think like, oh, that's a shame. I could empathize with that, right? Maybe you just blanked when they asked you and you were nervous, right? But wait a minute, then you read her tweets from before and you get a sense of who she actually is, which will then come back to the original idea of the book in a second. Her tweets are vicious.
They are.
And so she is constantly making fun of her maids.
She has maids?
Yeah. She has tons of maids apparently. There's like all these different maids that she's like, oh, they never do the job right. Oh, I'm gonna fire them. And like, oh, I made the TV more confusing to turn on so the Cambodian maid could actually do her work. She's a terrible person, okay? There's tons of yelling at random employees at different companies. She's like the original Karen.
So we'll get to that in a minute, but I want to read a few other excerpts.
And then I'm gonna give you the worst of the tweets, which is gonna give you a sense of who she actually is after that.
So in continuing her cover story for why she had difficulty defining woke, throughout the entire interview, I felt a panic attack growing, but just tried to get through the duration of the appearance without an incident. As we talked, I was stammering and trying not to set traps for myself. I did not want to open up questions about my own personal life. Finally, I was left speechless at one question, the basic definition of the word woke. She acknowledges that she should have had an answer ready, but still seemed to blame the so-called negative comments on parenting for her mishap. It was a fair question, after all. It's the centerpiece of my book's premise. But by that point, she says, the panic attack had arrived and I was rendered speechless. Eventually, I sputtered out what I thought was a decent definition of the word, but by then it was too late. Look, you had a bad moment. I don't really care, right? But I do care about the false narratives that come from this right-wing perspective on wokeism, because I do think that there are some issues with what the far left pushes. And I talked about that in the original story that we covered. I'll reiterate what those things are in just a moment, but let's actually get to her tweets, okay? Because here are some pretty weird examples. when it comes to Palestinians, she wrote, not nuking these effing animals is the only restraint I expect, and that's only because the cloud would hurt Israelis.
Oh, so you would like sympathy, but you think Palestinians are effing animals who should be nuked. You know what happens when a nuke goes off? Every baby in the area is incinerated. Every grandmother is incinerated. Every person is killed instantly in a gruesome fashion. And the ones that don't die right away die of radiation poisoning later. But you would like sympathy because you had a human moment where you forgot what the whole point of your stupid book was. No, you get the sympathy and the empathy when you show some. So yes, that was the worst of the tweets, but there's one others that I want to read to you guys to give you a sense of who she is.
Yeah, I have a few more, Jake. Can I get to them? Okay, let's go to graphic 7. I was so irate at Kosher Mart yesterday that they told me they'd refund my whole order before I was even finished yelling. So she likes yelling at workers. Here's another one, 35 seconds. That's how long Seth estimates I was alone in Penn Station without him next to me before I yelled at a stranger. Seems like she's got to go to therapy because she has some anger issues. And here's another one. I yelled at the receptionist at the radiologist office. Now I have to call and make an appointment. I need to control myself better. So like a through line in a lot of her tweets is I have anger and rage issues.
Yeah.
You seem to have worse tweets.
No, the Palestinian one was definitely the worst one. Her yelling is terrible, but now the second worst one is, and I got the delivery guy at Kosher Mart fired and my entire $20 order was refunded. You want us to have sympathy for you. You're getting innocent people fired. You want to nuke people because you think other human beings are animals who deserve death. And we're supposed to have sympathy and empathy for your monstrous ass on TV, for forgetting why you wrote a whole stupid book saying, other people are bad. Can you believe people want to be nice to other people because they're woke? Okay, so what's woke? I don't know. You wrote a whole stupid book about it. Why don't you know? Because you made it up. All you're trying to say is, you should hate the others. I can't believe these people don't hate. They should hate. These woke people don't hate enough. So Bethany Mandel, spare me your garbage about, oh my God, my kids. And by the way, she also explains in the tweets how the husband seemed to take care of the kids. She even talks about one of her kids. She doesn't even like the youngest kid.
Oh my God.
She's such a terrible person. Are you gonna catch feelings over that, Bethany? Are you gonna catch feelings? I'll have some sympathy for you the minute you don't want to murder babies and grandmothers and get random people fired because they didn't meet your standards. You're stop yelling at people and bragging about it. Did you ever think that maybe you're wrong? That you're the indecent person and you yelled at all those people and got those people fired when they didn't do anything wrong? That you have mental health problems and instead of writing a stupid book, you should spend all of that time in therapy trying to be a decent human being? Did that ever occur to you? And she'll look at this and go, I can't believe he was so mean to me. I have kids. I deserve sympathy. No one else does though. I hate everyone else and you should hate everyone else. But me, sympathy, I want sympathy. F off.
I just want everyone to know that no one cares about your decision to have kids or not. Like literally no one. And I'm not just talking to her, I'm talking to everybody, okay? I barely even care about my own friend's decision to have kids. Right, like who cares? That's their lives. I'm not.
Why would I care?
Like, I'm not going to take care of your kids. You're going to take care of your kids. Have 20 if you want, 25 if you want. I don't care, right? But can you extend the same respect? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Because those who choose not to are constantly being attacked by. But I don't know if I would ever want to refer to myself as a breeder, by the way, but by breeders.
No, but look, this is another thing that Bethany is 1000% full of crap on. So do progressives actually attack people for having kids? I've literally never seen it. And by the way, now there's a lot of leftists who say crazy stuff, right? And I still haven't seen them say that.
Yeah.
You're making it up entirely. Look, I could show you tons of leftist stuff where I go, that's going too far.
Like
right?
referring to women as people with uteruses?
Yeah, I mean, there's all the stupid language and 1,000 other things, right? But I've never heard anyone go, I can't believe she had 6 kids. No, we think you should have as many kids as you want or as little kids as you want. Because we, unlike your hypocrite ass, believe in freedom. Believe that we really should take care of other human beings and be decent to one another. On the other hand, I have seen thousands of times people go, oh, you don't have kids, that's terrible. Oh, you're so selfish.
I'm one of those women, yeah, 100%. I get met with that criticism and critique on a regular basis, but you wanna know something? I don't care. Like, I don't shrivel up like a delicate little flower because other people who have absolutely no control over my lives and shouldn't care about my life at all think I should have kids. Okay, think whatever you want. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm not gonna have like a brain fart where I forget the definition of a word that I wrote an entire book about.
100%. Go get help. You really, really need it. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.